Hey guys, what's up? It's Christine Seal, the High Level Queen, and today I have a super exciting interview with Mackensie Liberman, Queen of Chatbots and Orca Marketology. Hey!
Hey, how's it going?
Good, thanks for joining us today.
Of course, I'm super excited to be here and talking about one of my favorite things, which are chatbots.
Yeah, and if you guys don't know her, she's awesome. She helped me with my chatbot when I was having problems. So we have a lot to talk about today. We're going to talk about how chatbots are changing the game in 2021 and a bunch of cool stuff like what's coming up with WhatsApp and Instagram. But first, Mackensie, would you just tell us a little bit about yourself, kind of how you got involved and how you became the queen of chatbots?
Yeah, my story is interesting. When I tell people that I'm actually a former clinically certified cytogeneticist, for those of you who don't know what that is, I used to analyze chromosomes underneath a microscope for abnormalities. I have also seen my chromosomes. That was a lot of fun and some anxiety when I first looked in the microscope thinking, I hope my chromosomes look normal. They did. But you never know, right? Yeah, so I did that for like a decade. My degree is obviously in science and passions in science. And so I did that and I thought that's what I was going to do for my career. But then, the whole thing working for somebody else started wearing on me, and then working weekends, opposite days of my husband. I was the one that was working, the times when we wanted to go to the lake. So mom was not the cool person. So, or I missed out, so it was a no-win situation. So that's when I was like, I got to do something else. So I got into a Facebook ads course and was just running Facebook ads for businesses. This was in 2016. And then in early 2017, I'd heard about these things called chatbots. I'm like, okay, I got to see what these things are. And it was like light from heaven. I'm like, this is amazing. Like it just clicked and I got it. And I just started running chatbots for some of my clients. I got a brand new restaurant client when I started doing them. And that was in mid 2017, and he's still my client. And we've done some amazing things with his chatbot and just campaigns in general. The claim to fame that I love to talk about is I've been running a birthday Sorry, my door just closed. Running a birthday campaign for that restaurant, and I created the campaign in November of 2017. I have not changed it. I have not touched it. Nothing. It just keeps running in the background, $5 a day, bringing in new customers every single week, because with Facebook's targeting, you're targeting people whose birthday is in the next week. So every week it's a new audience. So that is the best automation ever. Like, I don't do much anything else. And especially now with COVID restrictions, he's currently down to only 50% capacity. So we're not running a lot of different offers just because he doesn't really have the room. But I guess there's takeout too. We've done some of that, but it's great because that client, it's like set it and forget it. And I only have to do some live chat answering every now and then. So that was kind of where things took off with that, and just I've gotten a bunch of clients after that. I've just dove in pretty much with all my being into chatbots and Manychat, and it's just grown ever since. And ended up about 15 months after I started my agency, I was able to leave my job, and now I'm making like multiple times more than what I was making a month at the lab, and I don't have to be in a windowless lab, and I can actually have my hair colored blue, which you can't do that in the medical lab, which is weird. But yeah, so that's kind of what I've done. And since then, I've worked with multiple e-commerce companies, coaches, consultants, helped with a $1.2 million launch for a course, and that was a lot of fun. And now I've been working with some bigger named artists, like currently I'm working with Afroman and Scott Page from Pink Floyd, and Corey Feldman. So it's getting pretty exciting. And there's just, with chatbots in general, there's just so much potential with them, and can be used really for any sort of business, as like I've just said in the last couple of minutes of the examples I've used them for.
Wow, that's incredible, Mackensie. That's just, oh man, I have so many questions just from that. But okay, is it cool if I ask, like,
Yeah,
how did you, or did they find you, or how did you find such high profile clients?
Oh, so that ended up being where somebody who was in my network was connected with them. So
Okay.
for those of you who are trying to get clients, put yourself out there and also be posting about it, about what you do. And then, I know, like for me, I sometimes have imposter syndrome, especially when I was first starting out. Like, am I even really this good, or is this, a fluke? And also, I'm not the biggest proponent for myself to like promote things that I have accomplished. I don't like to brag a whole lot, but it's good to do that and put yourself out there. So then that way people see that and will reach out to you. And so that's what ended up happening, is that this person in my network is an artist himself, and he was starting this label company. And he's like, well, hey, you've done these amazing things with these chatbot things. Are you interested in helping partner with us? I'm like, yeah, let's do it. So it's great, because then I'm, utilizing what connections they have, and then I get to do all the fun stuff with ads and chatbots.
That's so cool. Wow. Yeah, I totally agree with the network. Like, make sure that you have amazing people in your network. It makes a night and day difference. And yeah, I could talk for like another hour, but I'm not going to do that because this is your time. So
No, I agree 100%. It's all about, making sure you're making connections, you're helping people. And I think that's also a lot of it, when me, how I got to where I am. It's that Zig Ziglar quote: if you help enough people get what they want, you will end up getting what you want. Paraphrasing, I think that's pretty much what he said. But when I was first starting out with chatbots, one of the big things I was doing was answering questions inside of Facebook groups about chatbots, just because, well, I was, am super excited about them, and they click really well, and I like helping people. But then that also, people started to realize I knew what I was talking about. And so that helped me to get clients. And, I wasn't like being salesy or anything like that. I was just like, hey, here's the answer. Here's how you do it. Just helping. So then people saw that I knew, what I was doing. And so they're like, hey, either one, I don't want to do this. How about you do it for me? Or two, they just saw that I was knowledgeable. And so future questions, they would tag me in it so other people would see it. So definitely helping other people is another part of that. And just that's part of the network part of it too.
yeah, for sure. Wow, that's so cool. Okay, so I know we have a lot to talk about today. We did have someone ask, are you using Manychat? So do you like Manychat, Chatfuel? What do you like to use?
Yeah, so when I first started out, I tried a few different chatbot platforms, and Manychat really just by far was just superior. And it's gotten way better since too. So the few main reasons why I use Manychat is the user experience for building, using the flow builder is super intuitive. Where you make it, you have a button, you connect the button with another message. So it's pretty easy to follow. But also you can do a lot of things with Manychat in terms of different platforms. It's not just Messenger, which, we can talk about that as well, as why having other platforms is super important. But you can do SMS, you can do email, and then upcoming, like we mentioned, is Instagram, WhatsApp. They're also coming out this summer with their own web-based chatbot, so you can just have it on a website that's not connected to Facebook whatsoever. And then also Google My Business type of chatbots are also on the board of what they're working on right now.
Wow, that's awesome. Very, very cool. Cool. Okay, so I want to kind of get into like the meats and potatoes of what we're talking about today. And guys, if you have questions, they're relevant to our conversation, we'll try to get to them during. Otherwise, if we have time at the end, we'll do Q&A at the end. So make sure put your questions in the comments, and we're going to go ahead and get started with the main part of the interview, the part that you guys are here for. Tell us, since you are the queen of chatbots and you know what's going on with the roadmap, the future, and everything like that, you have the little crystal ball. What is going on with the future of chatbots in 2021? Tell us about WhatsApp. Tell us about Instagram.
Yeah, so the big thing with chatbots with 2021 is to make sure you are on multiple locations and channels. Instagram, Messenger, SMS, email, with the idea of having an omni-channel approach, because for two reasons. One, not everybody is on Messenger, so you can be able to reach them in other ways. But then also being able to reach them strategically based off of what I like to call the hierarchy of engagement. So if you think about, the list of all the different platforms that are out there, Messenger, SMS, soon to be Instagram, soon to be WhatsApp, email, those are like the main ones, obviously through Manychat. You really want to try to utilize the most engaging platforms as much as possible. So obviously Messenger and SMS are big, because when somebody gets a message or they get an SMS, it's a notification on their phone. Email is not so much, but we all know email is super important because you own that address, that email address. Well, you don't own it, but you own the right to send them an email. But then SMS is the same way, where you can, own that. And then also the fact of the cost too. So for example, being able to send a messenger message and an SMS message, well, SMS does cost, per message. And messenger messages, if they're within 24 hours or they are sent with via a one-time notification, are free. And then on flip side, sponsored messages, which is an option, those are about the same as an SMS. So keeping that in mind, having them on multiple, or having the ability to reach people on multiple platforms, that's one big reason why you want to do that. The second thing is with like Instagram, WhatsApp, those things are coming soon. I don't have a date. It's all based off of Facebook. It's not Manychat's choice or any of the other chatbot platforms' choice of when they're going to release it. But I am part of the beta with one of my clients, and it is a pretty awesome thing to be able to actually utilize Instagram with Instagram ads that go directly into DM, and then be able to do the same thing where you collect emails, you provide coupon codes, you do whatever that you normally do with Messenger, but having it within Instagram DM. So I know for the last couple of years at least, I've had many clients who've said, hey, can we have this chatbot on Instagram? And like, no, not yet. Facebook hasn't opened the API for that. And then they're like, oh, well, can we run Instagram ads and get them in a Messenger? I'm like, we can do that. The cost isn't that great, because not everybody who has Instagram has Messenger. So that is a slight barrier. But so with Instagram upcoming and WhatsApp too, that hierarchy of engagement will, those will both be in there, and also depending on your, really depending on your audience. So for majority of my clients, I'm trying to think of any of them that I will do WhatsApp. I don't think so, but I know there's a lot of people in Brazil and South America and some other countries in Europe and the Middle East that WhatsApp is huge. So that might be the top of their their hierarchy, because there's also a lot of countries that they don't use SMS, but they use WhatsApp. So that's where having that omni-channel approach for 2021 is super important, to be able to reach people where you can best reach them at the best cost.
Yeah, for sure. Cool. Well, and if you guys are in my Facebook group and you clicked on the notification to be notified when I went live with Mackensie, I actually used her strategy to notify you because I'm in her Facebook group. So she did a live on how to set up your one-time notifications. So if you got that one-time notification, guess who I learned it from? Exactly. So that's awesome. I totally agree. It's super important to be omnipresent. We've got a few questions if it's cool.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
Okay, awesome. Okay. Well, this is super relevant to my channel as well. Do you use High Level or other CRMs, and how do you integrate chatbots?
So I personally don't use Go High Level, just because my agency, I'm all over the place in terms of client types. If I was niched down in one type, I probably would. Actually, I was thinking about that, but I was like, nope, they're all over the place. Can't do that.
We'll work on it.
I know. Although now with going in with this music side of things, that is just like crazy different anyways. But In terms, you can use Manychat with a lot of different CRMs, including Go High Level. I actually found out that there is a Manychat app. That's the other thing is Manychat is super extra powerful because there's a lot of the developers that create apps. There's a Manychat app store. So you can actually connect to things. Like, for example, I have for one of my clients that is a e-commerce business that has pet supplements. I created a quiz, and quizzes are amazing inside of Messenger for Facebook ads and stuff. And so based off of their answers, I wanted to give them what is recommended for them. But there was so many different potential combinations. I started initially building it out in Manychat, and then I realized this is going to be crazy huge. And I don't want to make this huge, like just to create the AI for it, right? For it to figure out, okay, which ones, are going to be sent. So there's a Manychat app called Bot Sheets that I use that actually uses the power of Google Sheets and this app where all I do is I say, okay, app, I tell it what to look for, and I utilize the list inside of a Google Sheet. It connects it, and then it sends the cards with the images and the buttons and everything. It is amazing and saves me so much headache. The funny thing is, for the longest time, I'm like, I'm not going to use any of these apps because I can do all this in Manychat. I've been doing it in Manychat for years. The App Store is new. But finally, I was like, you know what? No, I need to use this. Another example is I use for one of my clients that's an international, she's kind of an influencer, where I collect SMS numbers for, to notify them about, tips and future things. Well, because of it being international with SMS, you need to have their country code. And it's funny, since working with this client, I've noticed that those of us in the United States don't know our country code. All these other people in other countries, they know their own country code, which is, kind of funny. But I was realizing, though, initially when I was working with this SMS from international aspect of inputs, that I was like, people were giving their SMS and it wasn't going in correctly because they weren't giving their country code. And then I'm like, well, what country are they from? I'm starting to look at their Facebook profile, and I'm just like, this is not scalable. This is not automated. I cannot do it this way. So there's actually an app in there by this developer named Paul, who it checks the SMS for you to see if it's got the right country code, and actually tells the person, okay, great. It looks like your number is from this country. Is this correct? And they say yes or no. And if it's no, then they can adjust it. So that app has saved me so much time and headache. But that was a huge tangent, but talking about apps, but there's a Go High Level Manychat app that I heard about yesterday. So there is a way to integrate it that way. But if you don't use Go High Level, or if you have a different CRM, there are some other integrations directly with Manychat, like with email service providers and stuff. Or, you can use their API. Manychat has an open API that you can connect with others, or if you are not a developer and it's utilizing Zapier, you can actually connect a lot of things through Zapier too.
Yeah, for sure. And I do have a couple videos on how to connect directly to the Manychat API. It's super, super powerful. You don't need Zapier. So if you have more time than money and you want to figure out how to connect the API, like, you don't need Zapier to connect high level with Manychat.
If you're not a developer and you connect that API, let me tell you how exciting that is when it works.
Yeah.
Another funny story, I was doing that. I'm like, okay, because with Facebook, you can actually have a guest chat on the customer chat widget for people who don't have Messenger. So that was a big thing that my client was like, I want to give people who don't have Messenger the ability to go through my quiz. I was like, okay, I can do that. But then when they go through the guest chat, it expires after 24 hours. And so I wanted to create a subscriber from their guest chat into Manychat, so that way I could, reach back out to them through Manychat. So I was using the API. I'm like, okay, I'm going to create a subscriber and it's going to be great. And so I tested it on myself. I'm like, it worked great. I was actually able to change my first name. So now when I receive messages from the chatbot, it says, hi, Mac, because I just changed it to my nickname. So that was pretty funny. But when I first implemented it and it was running a couple times on some guest chats that came through, it ended up putting their name as this CUF for the custom field and a bunch of numbers. Like, oh no. So I had to fix that. But most of the time when you're running it with the API and it works, like being able to use the API to set email custom fields, or sorry, system fields, and then the SMS system fields, if the person just provided it inside of the chat, that you can just automatically set that. That was a big win for me. I'm like, yes, because I'm not a developer, but I do know a little bit about coding and stuff. So it's definitely a big win when you can get that figured out.
Very, very cool. All right, awesome. Oh man, we have so many questions today. I don't even know, like, guys.
I'll answer them faster.
Yeah, guys, I can't keep her for, even though I want to, I can't keep her for 3 hours. So, okay, we'll try to get through everything. Let's see. Can you use a separate SMS platform and integrate with Manychat, or do you always use Manychat for SMS?
Yeah, so that's a big thing with Manychat SMS. There's a limitation of only US, Canada, and UK. I think is the three now that they had. They were going in other countries, but they realized that the cost and trying to get the numbers was just too high. So again, the Manychat App Store, and this is what I use for that international audience for that one client of mine, is there's an actual app that called like Send SMS, and there's a couple other ones out there too that will actually, you can then integrate with Manychat and then create the SMS inside of the flow builder and send it. But like, let's say you use ZipWhip, like I have an example, I have a physical therapist that we use, that they have ZipWhip, and so we use that, and I just integrate that through Zapier and then create it so that way it will send that zap. So you can create the logic and the flow inside of Manychat that, for example, when someone goes to request an appointment, I then send them a zap, or through a zap, I send them an SMS through ZipWhip to let them know, saying, hey, thanks for requesting the appointment. We'll give you a call from this phone number, in a little bit. So yeah, you can integrate it with other SMS.
Very cool. Okay. Let's see, what else do we have here? How do you use, oh, that's a hard question. How to use Dialog Flow integration?
So for those of you who don't know who Dialog, or know who, that's kind of ironic, know what Dialog Flow is. It's like natural language processing, where you pretty much make your bot smart, where it can just answer on its own. It's kind of cool, but it's also takes work to train your bot. So my suggestion is utilizing this app, again, a Manychat app called Janice, and it actually uses Slack to help you train your bot. And it makes it as easy as possible to get up and running. So I would highly suggest looking at using Janice to do that.
Cool.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Oh, okay. I was thinking actually about this when you were talking about cool things that you can do with the chatbots. You helped me with this, and I was blown away by how you helped me with this and the little workaround that we did for the one-time notifications with Europe. So Paul wants to know if there's any updates with guidelines for using in the UK or Europe. I think there were real changes in March.
Yeah, so there were, back in December, there were changes due to privacy for the EU privacy. And funny enough, Japan just recently in the last month was added to that list. So there was a bunch of, and it was horrible too, because that international client of mine, or that influencer client of mine, we were just about to launch her stuff. And that's when all the restrictions were put in place. I'm like, no. So one of the big things that they put in multiple restrictions for, like, you could have buttons on mobile, but not on desktop, and you couldn't have typing indicator. I'm like, why does this matter to privacy? But whatever. So that was in December. Luckily, things are getting rolled back. I don't know. I mean, I'm happy for that, but I'm also like, why did we even have it in the first place? But things are being rolled back. So the only thing right now that's really still in place is the one-time notification, which is you can't use that yet. It should be happening hopefully in the next month or so, where you can actually use the one-time notification. But there is a separate EU EEA issue with Facebook ads to Messenger, where you can't use the Messenger objective, and also you can't send sponsored messages. So it's something around the privacy thing. So that, sadly, we haven't heard of anything of that, coming back to normal. But at least in terms of chatbots, most of those restrictions that were put in place in December are coming back, or almost back, except for I'm waiting for that one-time notification to come back because that's going to be big. But until then, you just have to live without it.
Let us know. I would love to switch it back because I feel bad because I can't really, let people know who are in the UK or Europe when I'm going live. And I use that thing like every week. I love it. And if you guys aren't in Mackenzie's group already, go join her Facebook group. What's your Facebook group called again?
Marketing with Messenger Bots, which I should probably update it because it's not just Messenger anymore. I should say marketing with chatbots, but
yeah. Go join it. She has amazing content in there. And then this is a perfect segue. Where can we see examples of awesome chatbot implementations you've created?
Well, you can go through my Orca Marketology bot. It's ironic. I need to really update that just because, it's the whole process of thinking, you're focused on everybody else's stuff, but not your own. But I do have a lot of examples. And also when you do join my group, I do have a list of a bunch of different things that you can go through. So definitely check that out. But then also you can go through some other, there's some other great chatbots out there. One, and this is another thing that I cannot wait to have more widespread use, is using augmented reality, so AR. If you haven't, you could try it. But if you've ever purchased some like furniture through Amazon, like I was getting my kid a new desk chair for virtual school, and I was on Amazon. I found this chair, and it allowed me to, it's like Pokemon Go, to have it on my phone to look as a live shot of my son's room and be able to put the chair there to see what it would look like. So implementing stuff like that for Messenger is going to be huge. So one example of that is the Sephora Facebook page. They have actually where you can try on makeup and see what it looks like on your face using AR and be able to then know, okay, what products should you buy? So definitely check that one out. It's really exciting. I'm thinking of all the different things, obviously furniture, but you can do it for a lot of different things with if you have a body shop or you have a business that sells like car wheels, you could think about how it would just automatically put it on there to see what your car would look like. And then also just the fun stuff, right? Filters and things like that, or gamification, having it all as AR, so there's a lot of potential with that as well.
Wow, that's so cool. Do you kind of find that since the start of the pandemic, it's kind of forced companies to come into using chatbots and to kind of be more creative and innovative with the ways that they implement?
Oh yeah, 100%. There's a lot of aspects of utilizing, digital marketing, especially for businesses that maybe weren't using it before. And ironically, and I'm glad, that restaurant client I was telling you about, he actually thought last year around this time that he was just going to close just because, we were down to 25%, didn't have a lot of people, that were, able to, that were, can't come in and things like that. So I was like, no, let's do some advertising. Let's do a campaign, gift card campaign and all this stuff. And so utilizing the chatbot for that. And because I, built up a list for, a few years, it was really great to be able to do blasts like that through email, through SMS, and through, sponsored messages as well to get people to do takeout or whatever. So the pandemic's really pushed everybody more digitally, which I think is great. And being able to build a bot to whatever specifications you want or goals you want to achieve with it is really capable with Manychat.
Yeah, very cool. Okay. Let's see here. Do you have an account? Oh, sorry. Do you have to connect Manychat to an Instagram account, or can you use your existing connection to your Facebook account?
So every Instagram for Instagram connecting it to Manychat, you have to have it connected also to a Facebook page, and then adding the Instagram account to Manychat. So it's going to be pretty straightforward to be able to add that. But the big thing too, though, to keep in mind is that the Instagram account has to be either a business account or a creator account. So it can't be a personal account. So if you're thinking about yourself, or, if you have like a coach or a consultant or something where they have a personal Facebook page or Instagram account, sorry, having them either transition it to business or creator, or creating a new one so that way it can connect with Instagram.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we're a little bit caught up on the questions. I want to make sure we have time to talk about the other two things, which is there's been a 92% increase of chatbot use since 2019. We talked a little bit about how maybe the pandemic has forced businesses into that. Do you think that's the main reason why, or are there other reasons why?
Well, I think with the younger generation coming up, where it's more mobile friendly, it's really ironic. A lot of people, they use this every day, but they don't talk on it, right? It's hardly phone calls anymore. It's messaging apps. So the use of messaging apps is just going through the roof. It's continually to increase, and not only that, but also voice too. Voice chatbots like Alexa is increasing as well. So being able to connect to a business through chat is really beneficial, especially because in our society, we want questions answered right now, right? We go to a website to find answers, or we want to get answers from messaging a business right away. So being able to have that automation in place helps not only the customer, but then also you. So you're not having to respond to the same 50 questions, every day. So it's like you almost get like a virtual assistant that way. But yeah, so chat really is increasing. And there was a survey that I saw, I don't remember who did it, but where they asked people if they'd rather chat, email, or call a business. And chat was number one, even more than email, just because you think about, you have to email, you have to click find their email on their website, and then then compose the email. So chatting is just super simple, especially on platforms that people are already on.
Yeah, I think as a consumer, that's my number one pet peeve, when they're running messenger ads and you click on it and then nothing happens.
Yeah.
And you're like, did they really just spend money on this ad for nothing to happen? And then they reply to me like 2 days later, and I'm like, I don't even remember why I messaged you like in the first place.
Exactly. Yeah, 100%. And that's the other big thing too, is being able to have the ability to respond to people right away. So for those of us who, or at least back before chatbots, where I was doing Facebook ads to a landing page, and then they put in their information, and then you try and get a hold of them like soon afterwards, right? You try and call them, you try to email them or text them or whatever. Having a chatbot is great because it gives the ability, if they like have a question or an objection, they can ask it right there. So and then also being able to reach back out to them. So for example, like with the physical therapist client of mine, we do appointment requests because I can't integrate with their calendar, just because a lot of health industry types of businesses don't have calendar integrations. It's a closed system. But being able to have that ability to reach back out to them if they don't answer their phone, or if they don't text back, reaching them back where they initially reached out to the business is super amazing. Another example though is I have a veterinarian client who we do an offer for a free initial exam, and everything is done 100% through the chatbot, where they can actually schedule their appointment, and then it will send them a reminder message. So there are a few ways to do that, but making it as automated and quickly as possible for the user. And then also it saves the business time, where they're not having to do anything. It's just you see all these appointments start rolling in.
That's awesome. Cool.
Yeah.
Do you see a future for like a Snapchat type of bot at all?
So like with AR?
Yeah, I mean, I have a 17-year-old, he's almost 18, and he only uses Snapchat. Like, he doesn't use Instagram, he doesn't use Facebook, he uses Snapchat. And I'm trying to figure out, like, he is kind of hard to reach. Like, if I was, like, I'm his mom, and, I text him, and I don't hear back until the next day or 2 days later. If I'm an advertiser and I'm trying to reach that adolescent male group, like, how do I do it if it's not on Snapchat?
Right. Yeah. So there are some places that, yeah, it's hard to reach some people for sure. For example, my husband doesn't have any social media whatsoever, but he does get ads based off of things that I look at online, which is kind of
Right?
funny in terms of like, his MLB app. So, it's kind of funny. But yeah, so it's really based off of their ability to open up their API on things. So if they're, able to have DMs where they're opening the API for businesses, then that's a prime example. So Google My Business is one that's recently opened their API. It's funny, Manychat initially started on Telegram, but they ended up pivoting. They had to make the decision because Messenger was opening theirs. And so they said, hey, well, we can only focus on one. So they ended up moving to Messenger. But it's funny because now they're working at bringing Manychat back to Telegram too. So there are some other messaging apps out there that also don't have this 24-hour rule like what Facebook has. So being able to utilize them on multiple platforms, again, is a great way to reach people where they are, where the business I'm talking about, the platform allows with the open API.
Very cool. Awesome. Maybe we'll see it someday.
Yeah.
Cool.
Come on, Snapchat.
Okay. Do you have a course or do you recommend good courses to master chatbots?
Yeah, I do have a course called Chatbot Agency Blueprint. And it goes over, building chatbots, but then also a lot of the strategies. And then also I put in there just examples of things that I've done for different clients with those strategies. Because part of it is, and Manychat has a free course. So there is that too, but there's not as much in terms of strategy or advanced stuff in that course. But that also is an option. I know that a lot of people are like, well, hey, I can't afford buying a course. I'm like, well, check out Manychat's course because they have that as an offer. But a lot of it too with mastering chatbots is diving in and playing around with it and then testing it out and seeing what it does. So that was, it took me a little while to get it without a course because it was so brand new. I just kind of figured it out. But having a course that walks you through it does, obviously speed up the ability to implement it faster.
Yeah, for sure. And how do they find that course?
So if you go to chatbotagencyblueprint.com, then you can find out more information there.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you use a mobile wallet for loyalty or do you recommend Walletly?
So that's funny. This is a prime example of one of those times where I'm like, I'm just going to use Manychat to do loyalty, which I do. I have a loyalty program that's all inside of Messenger and it works. It's integrated with the Shopify store. So anytime somebody makes a purchase, they get automatically more loyalty points and then they're sent either a message if they've interacted with Messenger recently, or they get an email or SMS. So I've built loyalty programs that way. But mobile wallet, I'm actually going to be using it with some of my new clients with this partnership for NFT stuff. So that's going to be really exciting. I'm going to definitely dive in, probably using Walletly just because I know Rupert is a master with mobile wallet. So definitely, if it works for your use case, then utilize it, right? And for those of you who aren't sure what mobile wallet is, it's everybody's phone. And this is more, I think, more used in other countries. It's not used so much in the US, but everybody's phone has a mobile wallet where you can get like tickets, like your airline tickets, they can send it to you as mobile wallet. And you can also use it for businesses, or businesses can use it to send like other like things that they want to send you. But the cool thing with that is then it also allows them to be able to send you push notifications with that mobile wallet thing that you've accepted. So definitely check it out. If it works with your business, I would highly recommend it just because it helps to have that other, again, omni-channel, be able to reach people. And also it's not stuck to Facebook's 24-hour rule.
Yeah, that rule is really frustrating.
It is.
Do you think they're going to do that with Instagram too?
Oh yeah, it is.
Dang it.
I know.
Well, and it's really frustrating too for me because people will message my chatbot and they'll ask a question. And if I don't get to it in 24 hours, I can't respond.
Oh, so let me tell you that. So the live chat, you do have 7 days to respond. So you can respond through Manychat's live chat in 7 days.
Okay.
And if it's outside of that 7 days, you can go to your Facebook page inbox and just manually reply to them there. One strategy that I used with a new client who he bought the company as an e-commerce company from somebody else who had a Manychat account, but really hadn't done much. What we ended up doing is I had my VA go through, because you can message people on the Facebook page inbox up to like a year after they last engaged. And so I had her go and message everybody who had engaged in the last year through the page inbox saying, hey, we're under new ownership. We really appreciate our customers. If you'd like to get a discount code, just reply here with offer. And so what that would do is they would reply with offer, and that would kick off the chatbot keyword, and they would get their coupon, and that would all be automated. So that is a way to reach people outside of 24 hours. Just make sure, though, if you're messaging people manually through the page inbox, you don't do crazy too fast, and also you change it up a little bit. So, I mean, it's totally legal to message people on the inbox, but you got to also make sure that you're not going to flag some sort of algorithm of Facebook's that you're like automating the inbox.
Yeah, I do. I run into that problem with my personal messenger.
Yeah.
And I found that, I don't know why this is super secret. It's not going to be super secret for very long. But if you message them, so like if you do a value post and they're interested and you message them, don't send a link in the first message. Because if you send a link in the first message, you're going to get flagged after like 5 or 10, and then you're going to get like temporarily banned from sending messages. But you just say, hey, I saw you were interested. Do you want the link? And then after they say yes, then you send them a link. Is that how it works with the page as well?
No, the page is fine in terms of responding to past messenger connections, because of the fact that a page can't initiate a conversation with somebody. They can only reply to people who've initiated that. So they've, opted in that way. But the other thing you want to keep in mind too is, there's the 24-hour rule, but also Facebook has a spam rule. So in terms of, if people are blocking or deleting your messages, that's a red flag to Facebook that they're going to, give you a warning or block your page from being able to send messages. So keeping that in mind, that especially with the 24-hour rule, yes, you can send as many messages as you want during those 24 hours. But if you're sending messages to people and they don't want them and they're blocking and deleting your messages, then it's going to be a red flag and you could get in trouble. Which on that note, always what I like to do is when I'm sending like a broadcast out or even a sponsored message, because even, if you send out a sponsored message and people are annoyed with it and they block your page, even though you've paid Facebook and they've approved that message, if you get a bunch of blocks, then they're going to shut down your page. So always give people an option to opt out, with a no thanks. So usually if I send out a message and then I say, hey, if are you interested in this? And they can say yes, or they can say no. And if they say no, then I say, okay, no worries. If you no longer want to receive messages from us, just tap the unsubscribe button below, because you don't want people on your list who are not interested in your stuff and receiving messages from you. Maybe they were at one time, but you don't want a bunch of, fat on your list. You want to try and trim the fat as much as possible and allow people to see themselves out.
Right. Yeah, that's something that you really helped me with my chatbot. Like just giving them kind of like a choose your own adventure, and then, they can get out of it. Because the problem I was having was people just kept clicking things.
Yeah.
And they would get mad because they kept getting messages. And if you guys are out there, I still love you, but like, just don't click a bunch of stuff. But that's the problem I was having, is people kept clicking and then they would get mad at my bot because they kept getting the same messages over and over. And you really helped me with that, and to kind of make it so that they couldn't do that. Like if they did that, they would only get the message one time and not get put in this loop of like the hamster wheel.
Exactly.
Yeah. So there's little tips and tricks you can learn from Mackensie. I had no idea that those were possible, but yeah, go join her group. Okay. Paul asks, is it possible to link a Manychat Flow to the send message button on my Facebook page and then see all the conversations in my high level account conversations?
So I can answer the first part of that. Yes, that's called your welcome message, but it's only when somebody messages your page for the first time. So the send message button on your Facebook page, when somebody clicks that, they've never been a subscriber before in Manychat, it will send them that welcome message. Now, in terms of seeing it in your high level account, I'm assuming there's a way to do that just because that's an interaction. And if you have multiple bots connected to your page inbox, you'll see them on multiple platforms. But if they go to your page a second time and they click send message, it will just bring up the most recent messaging string that they left off with.
Yeah, and Paul, I actually have a video on my channel. It's called Connect Facebook Messenger Bot to High Level Without Zapier. So if you want to go check that out after this interview, obviously, then go check that out. But I show you how to connect the API in Manychat into high level without Zapier. And I've used it with Messenger ads, and I've used it just with the integration between Facebook and high level. So it's totally possible. Okay. And then I think we had one more. So 67% of businesses say that chatbots increase sales. That's crazy.
Yeah. And that was a Forbes questionnaire or survey or whatever. I thought that was a pretty awesome stat. And yeah, just because of the automation aspect of things, and like we've already talked about, people like to chat with businesses. It helps to increase that like, knowledge, and trust of a business in terms of they can find the information they're looking for. For example, like with my pet supplement client, that, you know, there's a lot of people who are either seeing it through Facebook ads or they're going to the website and they're not sure, right? So they go through the chatbot and either through the quiz or they're just kind of clicking through the menu items to learn more about the products, learn more about the business. So being able to increase that like, knowledge, and trust, then our people are more likely to purchase. But then also there's that automation piece, getting people where it's a really seamless process that they don't have to think much about it, and be able to go through and make the purchase. The other big thing is being able to have reminder messages. So for example, I did the stats, and for orthodontist client of mine, it was for an ad that was a free consultation. And so it was, you know, asking for their email, their phone number, and then they got to pick a date and time that through Acuity, because you can integrate with Acuity, that they wanted to have their appointment. And so those 3 steps, you know, there were drop off at different parts, right? So every time that somebody would go through this flow and they didn't finish it, it would remind them after, you know, 5-10 minutes. And those reminder messages from the stats I did brought in 30% more people just from the reminder messages, because you know, people drop off, they get distracted, you know, whatever. So having those reminder messages through the chatbot really helps to get more people who otherwise would have dropped off.
Wow, that's awesome. And are you talking about where you can choose what happens if they don't finish their submission or if they don't reply?
Yep, exactly. And that's a cool thing. So before, I used to have to do reminder messages through Manychat's rules feature, which is an amazing feature. And I still use it, but you can actually have it all done within the flow, that after user input, you can, there's a little red thing that says if input not received or something, that you can set the user input to expire. And then once it expires, if they haven't provided their information, it will then send the message that you have set up to send right after that. So, yeah. And then giving them the option too, like, hey, are you interested in this? And the other cool thing is giving them that option to say, hey, are you still interested in this? And saying yes or no. And if they say no, saying, do you have any questions? Then it's a great way for people to give their objection, or they have, you know, maybe they have some random question that you otherwise wouldn't have known if it was a landing page example, you know, getting people to opt in. So then that way you can overcome objections right there in the chat.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So cool. And they can learn that from your group, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Okay, awesome. Oh, I know we're kind of running out of time here. So I'm going to kind of wrap things up, but are you going to FHL?
No.
Dang it.
I've never been to FHL. I feel like I'm a pariah because I'm a chatbot and not a Clickfunnels person. So well, I used to be, but.
Well, same. They actually banned me from their Facebook group, which is
But you're still going. That's
an
amazing.
honor. But yeah, I know. I already had tickets, and I was like, well, lots of cool people there. Just curious. I'd love to meet you.
I know, right? Like in person.
In person.
I'm hoping the Manychat conference will be in person this year, or will be a combo, hybrid of in person and virtual. We did it last year virtually. It was interesting. It was fun, but it was not the same knowing that because being a mom, I love going to conferences because, as I'm sure you understand, you can like go and not have to do mom duty for, a few days. So I'm looking forward to going to more conferences for sure. Like TNC, I love going to traffic and conversion. That's a great one that I really enjoy. So if you're ever going to traffic and conversion, I will probably be there.
Cool. I know they keep rescheduling. I think now they're in September.
Yeah.
Which is when we're supposed to be in Disney.
Oh yeah, that's the other thing is, with my family, we normally go to Disneyland every year, and we're like, well, maybe we'll go to Disney World, and it's like, okay, now when are we going to do that? And yeah, so everything's like happening all in the fall. I'm like, wow, this is gonna be crazy.
I know. I really wanted to go to that, and then I saw that it was like during our Disney trip, and I was like, no.
It's funny. A few years ago, actually for 2 years in a row, I was going to Disneyland for a week, and then my family would fly back up here to Washington, and I would leave Disneyland and I went to Austin for the Manychat conference. So it's like for 2 weeks, I was like, Disneyland conference. It was a long 2 weeks, but it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, for sure. Just get on a plane and just keep going from city to city and don't actually go home.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, and with things opening up more, there's still a lot of use case with I think a lot of things that have been implemented digitally, that things will be hybrid versions. So like with conferences, but even for businesses too, being able to use automation, chatbots, online stuff, I think a lot of that isn't going to go away, but it's going to be implemented more with, which is great for just because in the last year, a lot of people have learned how to use tech who otherwise wouldn't have. So that's great for use case. I think, with chatbot usage or chat in general usage going up, that is just going to increase the use case more of chatbots too.
For sure. Cool. Well, if you guys got value out of this, make sure to give us a like, a heart, and remind us how, if they want to work with you or if they're interested in your stuff, how do they get in touch or how do they find out more?
Yeah. So, well, obviously if you join my group, but then also you could, my website, orcamarketology.com, check out there. I have actually listings on my website of my courses. And if you want strategy sessions, which is how I helped Christine with her bot. So you can get those there too. So, or if you want to, you can message me on my chat bot.
Mark, in your Facebook group is Marketing with Messenger Bots?
Yep.
Okay. Awesome. Guys, go follow Mackensie. She's amazing. She taught me everything I know about chatbots. And if you came through my chatbot today, that's who I learned it from. So Mackensie, thank you so very much for hanging out with us today and sharing your knowledge. It was a blast. Had a great time.
Went back fast.
Had to have you back. I know it's been a year since I interviewed you last.
It's crazy. Yeah.
So maybe we shouldn't wait so long next time, but thank you so much. And I hope that you guys have an amazing day. Any final words you want to share?
Just dive in. If you're not using chatbots, start using them. Start small. You don't need to do super crazy advanced stuff right away. Just start small and you'll see some results and you can just build off of there.
Cool. All right. Yeah. Well, thank you so much.
You're welcome. We'll talk to you guys later.